Hello everyone, and welcome back to today's analysis. As for today, on the 162nd episode, we are going to discuss about the one and only Albert Wesker, the main antagonist in the Resident Evil video game franchise. One of the most iconic video game villains ever created and the literal face of the franchise itself, Albert Wesker is obviously the best Resident Evil antagonist ever to date. Even nowadays, he's honestly much better on than most other villains, and even better than his own film counterpart. And in this episode, we're going to discuss all that we know about Wesker throughout the games to understand him and why he is Albert Wesker. And now, let's begin. Before we analyze Albert Wesker, we all need first to understand how did the world of Resident Evil have come to be into the video games. And here comes the Umbrella Corporation, who was founded in the 1960s by a scientist known as Oswald E. Spencer, who was researching about various viruses throughout nature, including the Plantora virus from Africa that had the power to literally resurrect dead cells back to life, and use that as a prototype to create various powerful viruses, such as the T virus that can turn humans into zombies, as well as other types of viruses that can give superhuman abilities without turning somebody into a mindless undead creature. And here comes what came to be known as the Wesker Project, in which Spencer has kidnapped multiple children with genetic potential, and Albert Wesker was one of them. Born in 1960 and taken away from his parents when he was an infant, he was technically raised by the Umbrella in the Raccoon City orphanage, and was experimented upon throughout his entire life. And from all the Wesker children, only Albert is the only one who survived, and thus the only one with true potential. And thus, Albert Wesker, upon growing up, he has become a guard for the Umbrella Corporation as well as a member of the Stars Corps and within the United States military. And at the same time, he also had a position as a researcher for the corporation. And he used his time out there in order to learn everything, all of Umbrella's secrets and all his secret knowledge, and to find out the truth about his secret schemes from beyond the scenes, and even sold these secrets towards other rival corporations throughout the US and throughout the world in general. And by 1998, the Raccoon City incident happened when the T virus escaped and infected the whole city and caused all people to turn into zombies. And Albert Wesker, and also with other few, managed to survive and escape the city before it was destroyed by a nuclear bomb. And he came to confront Always C. Spencer himself, and when he told him the truth about his origins and about Umbrella's true purpose, to destroy the world so Spencer can rule it as a god. And Albert has been the prototype for what could be a new human race of superhuman beings. And so Albert killed Spencer in cold blood and shattered the Umbrella Corporation. And thus he decided to destroy and take over the world himself, so he can rule it as a god. And over the years, he sold more and more secrets of the Umbrella, as well as other types of viruses towards other rival factions throughout the Resident Evil franchise, in order to enrich himself and gain any kind of known virus like the T virus, the G virus, the Las Plagas, and so on and so forth. But over the years, he has come into conflict with the protagonists, Chris and Claire Redfield, Jill Valentine, and Leon S. Kennedy, who are also fellow Raccoon City survivors, and all of them vote to stop him and to save the world. And now, as of 2009, his ultimate scheme has come to materialize as he created a super virus known as the Ouroboros that he wanted to release around the world, in which he will kill most of humanity, and those that survive will become superhuman beings, so he can rebuild the world with himself as a god. And now, before we continue, we need to stop and ask, is Wesker evil? Now, I put this question primarily because, while yeah, this guy is absolutely nuts, it should be noted here that Wesker does have some tragic origins, given the fact that no child has to be taken away from his parents, especially as an infant. And given the fact that he was raised into a cold and dark orphanage and experimented upon throughout his entire life, might have played a part in why his mindset and worldview is so twisted. However, Albert is not innocent. He is a literal evil monster who accepted who he is. He is well aware of who and what he is, and while he did have the opportunity to reunite with his birth parents, he chooses not to, and instead he pursues world domination. All of these are choices that he made, and he is responsible for all and each one of his actions. And given the fact that he literally killed the one who actually made him, further proves to me that Wesker is an absolutely pure evil psychopath with very little to no redeeming qualities. And that little boy who suffered at the hands of the Umbrella and was taken away from his family is long dead by now, and was replaced by a literal cold, unfeeling monster that vows to destroy the world. And now the answer to this question is obviously yes. Wesker is evil, and he's pretty much pure evil to the core. And in the end of the day, all his plans have failed. As in the protagonist managed to stop him, destroyed his virus, and Wesker found his own death into a literal volcano. And thus, Albert Wesker's tragic life and evil goals have come to an end once and for all. So in the end, who was Albert Wesker? He was nothing more but a psychopath who only wanted power and glory in his own name. A monster so blinded and so filled with hatred and anger that he became an even bigger monster than his own tormentors, and vowed to destroy the entire world. Literal monster that could easily be called as one of the most iconic villains ever made into the video game industry. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give like and subscribe, and have a nice day.
Soon.